I roll up to the club about 10:15. I open up the door and I step right in. Ain't nobody here, just laying round bored, 'cause the whole damn club is playing it forward. Everybody here is grooving to the podcast, and everybody here is dancing and having a blast. So take your cup and fill it up, 'cause if you ain't down, then I don't give a care. Yeah, everybody here is listening to the podcast, and everybody here is laughing and peeing their pants. If you ain't here, you don't know what you're missing. So open your ears, shut up and listen. The podcast will make you dance like a fool, so you better get ready for Mog and Do. Okay, guys, welcome to the Play It Forward podcast, and everybody's here. Everybody's
here.
Everybody's grooving to the podcast. Actually, I wet myself a little bit, just got nerves and stuff. It's a really exciting podcast. We have Dinnerbone on.
We sure do, so. Which is why we had an extra long special intro for you guys, which probably scared most of you away.
Luckily, we figured, okay, this was our opportunity. We have probably the biggest audience we're ever going to have coming in to listen to the podcast. So why not test their faith? Test their will to be able to listen through that long enough to get to the Dinnerbone interview, and we'll see how many people are still sticking around listening.
Exactly. So we figured we can wrap up the tournament from last time, and then we'll go straight into the interview. Exactly. The ornaments, tournaments. Breath mints.
We're not talking about it. We're not talking about a New York accent person guy.
Right.
Talking about a tournament here.
We got a tournament for toys.
Yes.
And so this time it's the quarterfinals in our tournament. And
well, I guess we should probably recap it a little bit,
right,
just because there might be a lot of new people. We picked 16 different toys in the previous episode, and we had them battle it out in the first round. We just kind of talked about why we like each toy, and we went with the decision. I don't have the list of all the ones we included, but if you guys want to listen to that first round, go back to the last episode with Seuss, or HB Coffin of Seuss Corp as the guest. But the people that moved on to the second round it's going to be Ninja Turtles, Trolls, Crossfire, Beanie Babies, Legos, Rubik's Cube, Lincoln Log, and of course
the water. No, I'm just kidding. The water wiggler.
The water wigglers. Wow.
Yeah, that's Stretch Armstrong won that one. But anyways, so the first grouping, right, is Trolls versus TMNT Toys. All right. So we've already kind of listed our reasoning for why they're great toys in the last episode. So this should go pretty quick. Yep. I think I'm going to stick with TMNT Toys just because, like we said, they're badass toys and Trolls are horrifying.
Yeah. Plus the Trolls, what do you really do? Just kind of like mess with their hair, put them on a shelf or something.
Right.
They don't have much to them. I mean, like the basic ones are pretty much all the same except for just a different hair color, and that's it. I know we mentioned that there were some in the 90s, I remember, coming out that were kind of detailed with costumes and everything. But the Ninja Turtle toys, the original ones, like, I don't really know about the new ones, but like the original ones were just badass. They were awesome. You had like even the little van that they had was cool. And I remember too, like when the movie started coming out, and I don't know, I think it was in the movies they had the foot soldiers or whatever that were kind of different style from the cartoon, and I remember having like the cartoon versions of certain things, and then like the movie versions, and like some of the movie ones looked like badass because they were more detailed and everything. But yeah, right. we're gonna both agree on that one and go with Ninja Turtles over the Trolls.
You know what? While you were ranting there, I just did a little bit of research, and apparently there are Ninja Turtle Trolls. You said they had different costumes. I decided to look it up, and there they are. They're really, really, really horrifying. They've got all four of them, and they've still got those creepy eyes and the creepy smile and the crazy hair. but they
Oh
are
wow.
Ninja Turtles.
It looks more like the Ninja Turtle toys, just kind of with the same smile in the eyes and the
Yeah,
hair.
exactly. So there we
That
go, Ninja
is,
Turtle troll dolls. But
they win.
yeah, they're the true winners here.
Mhm.
So for the next bracket, so Team NT Toys moves on
Yep.
onto the what is it, semifinals, I guess. In the next bracket we have the next matchup is Crossfire versus Beanie Babies, right?
Crossfire.
Crossfire.
If you guys don't know what Crossfire is, definitely look up the commercial for it. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's all we'll say about that.
Yes.
So I don't know, man. Crossfire versus Beanie Babies. I
I think
think
you're I think you're maybe leaning towards Crossfire now after I finally showed you the commercial for it.
yeah, I think I'm still gonna go with Beanie Babies.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. Crossfire is just one game. You can play a million games with Beanie Babies. They
Yeah.
foster imagination.
You can have wrestling tournaments with them as well.
Exactly.
Talked about that in the last episode. Yeah, I don't know. I never really, like I said, we only owned those two Beanie Babies, which who knows if they were even like legit, actual brand Beanie Babies. I don't even remember. I
Right.
think they were, but I'm not sure. But I remember most of them were like bears and different, different like colors of bears, and then there were some of the other animals. I don't know. Like in terms of camp value, Crossfire is amazing because of the commercial, but Beanie Babies, now that I'm thinking about it, just like the like QVC shop at home stuff, like those were so great, like amazing to watch. Like people just like freaking out. This
Exactly.
limited edition red, white, and blue American 4th of July edition of Beanie Baby.
Yeah, right,
So
right. And then you
just
look
like,
at the eBay listings, and it's like I'm
oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure you could look it up right now. Beanie Babies eBay. In fact, Beanie Babies eBay. Like I'm sure some of these listings are just like insane. Yeah, rare Beanie Babies. The second link on Google. Here we go. Ultra rare retired treasure, the unicorn justice exclusive Beanie Boo used, all in caps lock. Retired mint derby tie Beanie Baby, extremely rare. I mean, these are going for hundreds of dollars.
Look at this one for $2,000. Thai Beanie Baby, Osito the Mexican Bear, PE pellets, mint tag, tush tag with card rare. It's just like a damn. It's like if you look at it, it's just a red bear Beanie Baby with like little streamers coming off his neck, gold and white, and he's got the Mexican flag just like sewn to his chest. And that, for some reason, is worth $2,000. At least someone
And they come
believes.
with certificates of
Yeah.
authenticity, which is so funny. Authenticated Thai Beanie Baby, Humphrey the Camel, first or second gen tag, rare, mint.
I think I found the one I was referring to that I always think of. It's the Union Black Nose Rare Bear
Yeah, I
type
saw that. I saw that.
flags. For some reason, I always think of that one.
With American flags all over
Yeah.
it. So
And
I don't know.
the other one's-
Where's your vote, man? Where are you gonna vote?
I think just because of how hilarious those things were, I'm gonna have to go with Beanie Babies. Like I said,
Excellent.
Crossfire is awesome. It's close. They or it had fought a good battle, but Beanie
Yeah.
Babies move on to take on Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, and I had the coin all ready to flip. So
Oh yeah.
okay. On to the next matchup, which is Legos versus Rubik's Cube.
Mhm.
Okay.
Kind of similar in the way that they got the same colors to them, like the original
Right.
Legos and the Rubik's Cube. And you kind of work with blocks and you don't really make anything with a Rubik's Cube. You solve it, but it's still there's almost a little bit of a similarity there.
Right. Yeah, I'd say out of the toys we've had.
Mhm.
Let's see. I don't know. I think as amazing as Rubik's cubes are, like what people can do with them and how those people solve them in like 3 seconds flat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just the things you can do with Legos, there's just so much more possibility. Legos are just literally brilliant. Like whoever came up with those is a genius.
Yeah.
Just like infinite possibilities. Lego wins.
Yeah, I definitely
me.
agree with that. I had a lot of Legos as a kid, and the cool thing about it too is that they incorporate all the other different kinds of toys and
Right.
movies and everything like that. There's always
Exactly.
the different versions of Lego. Star Wars is like the big popular one, And yeah, the Rubik's Cube, I never really got into it. I never solved one. I never even played with one that much to even seriously attempt to do that. It's just like, I don't know, to me it's almost kind of just got like a little gimmick value to it just because of the whole like people trying to solve it as fast as they could.
Right. But
With
it's
Legos,
just math, honestly. It's just
yeah,
algorithms. Like
that's the thing. It's once you know it, it's pretty much like it's not that impressive once you know how people actually do it.
in fact,
But
you know how they have the Lego robotics?
mhm.
I once saw a YouTube video of a Lego robot solving a Rubik's cube, like
Oh
that
really?
could solve one every single time, like just
Yeah,
using algorithms. So there we go.
yeah.
that solidifies it.
Definitely, for sure. There's the dagger. That's it. Well, the next one we have, this is going to be the opponent of Legos in the next round. It's going to be something kind of similar, you know, building things. The Lincoln Logs, if you youngins don't know what that is, basically they're just long wooden logs with little like divots in them that you can kind of stack up and build the same log cabin over and over again. That's pretty much all you can do with them. Uh, and they're going up against Stretch Armstrong, which is that little toy where you can grab the arms and legs and just like stretch it out like 10 feet or something ridiculous
Can
like
I just
that.
say that both of these toys kind of suck?
Yeah,
Like after Legos and Rubik's Cube, I'm just like, man, I don't want to play with either of these.
exactly, right?
Yeah. Because Lincoln Logs are like really cool and they're retro and stuff, but like they're just so limited because they've just completely paled in comparison to Lego. Which honestly, when Lincoln Logs was created, which I think I looked it up like after last podcast, it's like 1915 or something.
Yeah.
Like that just it wasn't possible to make Legos. So I don't know. Stretch Armstrong though, it's just like one
It's
thing
so
with
pointless.
a gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just grab it and pull it. That's all it is.
but
Teaching
it's,
these kids.
but it's really funny. I don't know. Where's your vote?
I don't know. It's tough. I think it's just because of the fact that I don't want Lincoln Logs to go on to face Legos because we've already established like that they're better than them. I think I'm gonna have to go with Stretch Armstrong, just because I don't know. I guess it's a little bit newer of a toy, and it's not something completely outplayed. I guess there's not so many other different versions of toys like it that are better than it.
Right,
So,
right.
and it's kind of got like a little bit of a camp value to it as well because it's kind of like corny and you know it's
Yeah.
all about the 90s and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I guess I can agree with that.
yeah, so I'm gonna go with Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah. All right. So we're into the semifinals now. And now it's really going to go fast and it's going to be hard.
Yep.
We've got TMNT Toys versus Beanie Babies.
This is tough.
Oh, which one's going to make it to the final?
Uh
TMNT Toys versus... I think I'm going to go with Beanie Babies. Just because TMNT Toys is limited to the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
There's probably Ninja Turtle Beanie Babies.
oh. Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
go to the
gotta look it
interwebs.
up.
Check that out.
Google. What has the internet done to us?
I know, right?
TMNT Beanie Babies.
There's like the new
yeah, there
beanie
are.
ball things. Yeah,
Yeah, the
the
beanie
new
ball.
beanie. Yeah, the things that they're doing now.
Okay, well there you go.
They're trying to make a comeback. Who knows? Maybe it'll be in the tournament or the tournament next year.
Plus, that new Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie that's coming out has sort of turned me off of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lately.
Yeah, of course.
It's just kind of grossing me out. Plus, I was never a huge TMNT fan, anyways. It was just kind of like I don't know, maybe a little bit before, like too early for me because I was a little young for that
Yeah.
when it was like
It was
really popular still. So
late 80s, early 90s.
yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, when I was a kid though, too, it was all popular, and I was really into it. I even had like you. Do you remember? Are you young enough or old enough? I always forget the way to say that.
Young-
Are you old enough to remember?
Wait, yeah.
like they had like for some reason these were kind of popular. I don't know how long it went on. Probably not to when you were born, but there was those sticker books that people would have all the time, and it was almost like. I don't know, almost like making your own comic book, but not really. And it'd just be like a big book, and there's just squares, and then you buy like the packs of stickers, and then you get them, and you're like,
I don't know.
you kind of collect them, and just be like, you put them in there, and be like, oh, cool, I got this one. You know, it was weird. I just remember having that of Ninja Turtles. There was a cool board game I remember playing. I had like a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff, but once it was like, okay,
Crazy.
yeah, once it was like 94, 95, then it was just like, okay, Ninja Turtles are completely forgotten about.
Yeah.
It was just like weird. Yeah, it was just like, and then they all of a sudden started to come back like however many years ago, and they remade some of the stuff like the cartoons, the games, and it's just all just been bad. Like
Yeah, it really has.
it hasn't been like the old days. Speaking of which, have you watched enough Ninja Turtles to be able to say what your favorite Ninja Turtle is out of all four of them?
Uh, I don't really know them too well.
Mhm.
I think, let's see. I always forget the fourth one. There's Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, and
Leonardo.
Leonardo. Yeah, I know.
Leonardo was the guy with the swords. He was kind of like the leader guy.
Yeah.
Raphael was like the rogue rebel guy with the little what are they called? The little fork things. I don't know.
I think it's between Raphael and Donatello for me. Probably
Yeah.
Raphael. I don't know.
Everybody always liked Michelangelo because he was just like a surfer party dude, and then of course he had the nunchucks, which are cool.
Yeah.
A lot of other people, I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, the two most popular are Raphael and Michelangelo, because then he's like the badass guy, Raph, you know. So
Yeah.
Donatello is the smart guy. I think he always worked on the computers and stuff, and he had like just a giant stick as a weapon. For whatever reason, I always liked Donatello, and it could even be because for some reason as a kid, like my favorite color now is blue, but for some reason when I was younger, I liked the color purple.
The musical?
Yes, exactly. That was the reference there. But I don't know. I just thought the stick was a cool weapon for whatever reason, even though it's just so basic. But then also, I guess probably because he was smart and into computers, and before I even knew that I'd be into computers,
He just
that's
predicted
probably
the
why.
future.
Yeah, Ninja
So
Turtles predicted the future.
So what is your final vote then?
I don't know. I have like a lot of
Emotional baggage.
yeah, a lot of emotional baggage tied up in Ninja Turtles, and almost none into Beanie Babies. But I'm kind of trying
It's
to
kind of
go.
the opposite for me, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Ninja Turtles just so that we can have a coin toss on
All right,
this one.
here we go. Heads
Yep.
heads or tails?
Heads.
It's heads. Oh.
Yeah. Suck it.
I
Ninja
think it
Turtles,
should have
move
been
on.
Beanie Baby.
Okay.
Okay, semifinals, second round. It's what is it? Stretch
Legos against-
Armstrong versus Legos.
Mhm.
Legos.
Legos. That was easy.
Okay, so Legos versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Well, I don't even have to guess. I know there are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Legos. So that's been 3 things in a row. Trolls, Beanie Babies, and now Legos that have TMNT
Right? Yeah.
in them. Which
And that shows how great they are.
yeah, that
'cause
shows how far spread and popular that is. I'm still going with Legos.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to go with Legos. The thing is, it's funny because it's come down to these two, and these are probably when I was a kid, we pretty much had no toys, but then there was like a little point for like maybe a year or so where we had like a lot of toys somehow. And what I had was just like a ton of Ninja Turtle toys and a ton of Legos.
Yeah.
And those were like my two toys that I had.
I love
Legos-
Legos like just so much. Like everything
Yeah.
for me was Legos. So the stop
Legos are
motion
great.
animations, like the spaceships. Oh
Yeah.
man.
I don't know. It's hard though because we play Minecraft. We talk about Minecraft, and the whole stereotype is everybody that plays Minecraft they started with Legos. They love Legos. So I almost don't want to pick them.
Plus the coin toss for the final could be exciting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Ninja Turtles again.
Okay.
Just for the coin toss, but I mean, I still think it's kind of close.
Yeah,
for me.
it's a close one for sure. I actually have a Lego Statue of Liberty, like a pretty big one too, like
Oh, yeah,
in
nice.
my house. So, all right, all right. I guess I'll call tails this time.
Okay.
Oh, what is it? It's heads. No.
Ninja Turtles, baby.
Uh,
Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in a half shell.
Turtle power. You know what would be amazing? Because you know how they're ruining the whole Ninja Turtles thing, right? With this Michael Bay movie, with what hasn't he ruined, right?
Right.
But what if they just had that intro from the
Yes.
cartoon, and
or,
then it's
or
just
the
all,
or even just like it's a shell of a time.
just have like something like that, and everyone's like, yeah, and then it's just a crap movie from there on. It's like everyone gets all amped going into it. Like, oh man, yeah, I remember back in the day, the old cartoon. That's cool.
Yeah,
oh, what the
exactly.
hell is this?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh
it's just like-
Jesus. Dear
man.
God. But anyways, you guys are probably tired of us ranting about toys.
Or you already skipped over.
Yeah, exactly.
The interview.
But hopefully you enjoyed this section anyways, and now we will not hold out any longer. Just kidding, we will. Let's talk about Rice-A-Roni.
Let's talk about Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat.
All right, on to the interview with Dinnerbone, the developer for Minecraft, or one of them.
Yep, one of them.
Yep, and here's one of his interviews.
Of him, Dinnerbone, Mojang. Okay, guys, it's time for the interview, and yes, it is the real Dinnerbone. I don't know how we got him, but we got him. Mr. Nathan Adams here. What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Very well, thank you. This guy, for those of you who don't know, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but I say this every time, he works on Minecraft. He's a developer for the game.
Programmer.
Yep. And where can we find you on Twitter if we want to?
You can find me under the Twitter name Notch.
Okay, great. So you
Send
heard
all
it
your
here.
complaints there.
And send all your compliments to his other Twitter account,
Which is Dinnerbone.
Okay, there we go. The
Nice.
truth comes out.
I don't know how this whole thing came about to where you agreed to be on our podcast, but I know that we did talk a little bit at Minecon, and it probably sounds weird for you to actually hear what I really sound like because my voice was shot the entire Minecon.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sucked. But I remember, I think the first thing I ever said to you was like, it was hilarious because I was like, I just wanted to say, I love your game and I don't want you to change anything about it. I was like, I bet you never heard that before. And you're like, what? Well, then I won't have a job. And I was like, damn it, it backfired.
I remember that. That was funny.
And we talked a bit, like you were playing air hockey with a couple of people. I think Drink was there as well. Drink is Dink, and he's been working with JL to bug you about the rail mechanics lately. So yeah, it was cool. We had fun there, and I gave you a business card, and somehow you miraculously kept a hold of it this entire time, and then it just ended up happening that you, for whatever reason, agreed to join us. So thanks.
Thank you very much. Not too
You're
late to
welcome.
quit.
Yeah,
Dinnerbone has left the call.
yeah. Skype noise.
That was a good impression.
Ah, it's realistic. You should do voiceovers.
So we've
Nice to
got
do
a
a
bunch of
research
questions
back.
from both Reddit and Ask FM and our own brains. So we're gonna start with our own questions, I guess.
Favoritism.
Yeah.
Yep.
'Cause save the worst for last. um, so the first question that we came up with was apparently on the Twitters, it's been confirmed that Minecon 2014 is going to be in Europe. So is there any more info that you can reveal? And also, we wanted to know, has there ever been any talk about maybe doing 2 Minecon events per year, expanding somehow, like maybe one in the US, one in Europe, etc.?
Very good questions.
No comment.
We start out with the easy ones. Well, I didn't actually know that it was announced that it was in Europe until like very recently. The main reason we don't like announce where it is and so on is because we want to make sure everything is booked.
Yeah.
Unlike some venues.
Yeah, exactly right. Unlike some
But,
conventions.
yeah, we have to make sure like every single detail is 100% confirmed before we can say it. But
Yeah, of
we've
course.
definitely been looking in Europe, and that's pretty much all we've confirmed at this point. I mean, we know where we want it to be. We know a rough plan of like a rough schedule of what we want, but since none of it's confirmed, we don't really want to put it out there and then disappoint a lot of people who are
Right.
planning on going to it. And the other half, I think you said you wanted 2 Minecons.
I didn't say I wanted it. I just said,
I said
have you ever
it.
thought about it?
It's
It's a lot of planning.
extremely hard to plan Minecon. And we try to keep it small. That's why we have such a low amount of people who can go there. It's
Right.
like one of the main complaints we get after Minecon is, why was it so small? Why couldn't you add like 10,000 more tickets?
Yeah.
But then one of the most complaints we get during Minecon is, there's too many people and there's not enough things to do. You got to lower the amount of people that's here.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many pens you can give out to people, right?
Oh, low blow. we've got to make sure that we have enough content that justifies two unique events.
There's a balance there.
And we also, I mean, we don't make anything from Minecon.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Is it in any way profitable?
Not in the slightest.
Okay. Wow. So.
But what we have been doing recently is like try to encourage community-driven ones, which really hasn't gone well yet, but we haven't really put down ground rules for it yet. So we're working on something to help with that.
Yeah, that's another question we have that we want to ask you. This is actually the next question. Speaking of Minecraft conventions, what is your take on the unofficial conventions, such as the Meeting of the Minds one, which everyone knows about, and Minorama coming up, which some people have been skeptical of, and is Mojang, well, you said Mojang was taking some measures to kind of try to work with something, maybe like, I don't know, do you guys have an idea of maybe trying to make something where they have to meet certain requirements, and then maybe you kind of give them a stamp of approval, so then it's more like a kind of official, unofficial thing? Or is it just like you want to try to police it somehow and make sure people aren't taking advantage of people using your guys' name in a way, you know?
Like a Fight Club chapter in each state, like that runs autonomous.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. That's a very good question, and actually a very good idea. You should come work for us.
Got it.
We're actually doing exactly that. We're trying to come up with like a bunch of ground rules that conventions would need to follow to get our approval, I guess. So I'll start up with what do I think about the current conventions that are going around. The one where, was it Meeting of the Minds, was it?
Right.
Yeah, that was the controversial one.
Yeah, that's the controversial one, and there's one coming up, Minorama?
Yes, in New York, I believe.
So many minds, it's hard to keep track of the names.
Right.
So the one that happened, I don't know too much about it personally. I know that a lot of bad stuff happened, but I also know a lot of people are saying bad stuff happened when it actually didn't.
Right.
So I think that was kind of a good attempt at, someone went in with good intentions, possibly, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
I kind of think that's what the last episode we did. I think it was, or the one before, we mentioned this.
Yeah,
and I kind of came to that conclusion as well. I think I don't know if it was a scam. I think maybe they had good intentions, but at the same time they didn't know what they were getting into, so they're still at fault for trying to put something together like that and not delivering. Because if you're going to do something like that, you have to deliver. That's the thing. Like if you let people down, you're going to have to deal with it.
It looks really easy. Well, it looks fairly easy from outside. It's like, well, it's a game. It's for kids, so kids won't expect much. We'll just throw something, and they'll have fun because it's a thing for them. But in reality, unless you have some kind of experience with it already, unless you know exactly what you're getting into, then exactly this situation happens, and then everyone's really disappointed in you.
Right.
So as one of the things we're going to try and cover with our rules, I believe, is the kind of standards you need for the venue and events that would be going on there. Just so you would need some kind of proof that this is actually going to happen and this is actually a thing that you have faith in. And not just, we hope it's going to be fun, and we hope that a bunch of parents won't get angry when their kids get upset.
All right.
And the one coming up, I don't know much about that, but I don't really know much about the one coming up, so I can't say if it's going to be good, if it's going to be bad, but just always go in with a healthy amount of caution.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't fly across the world to go to it.
What about possibly having more influence in things like PAX, or maybe I don't know about like more influence, but just more of a established like designated Minecraft area. Yeah,
we did do a PAX. That was the first time I ever went to PAX before, was for Minecraft, and we did a little booth there. I don't know why we do that anymore, because that was really fun. That'd be something to ask the higher ups, I think.
Gotcha.
But it is, especially with PAX, it's flying across the world, really takes a huge toll on the company. We're based in Sweden. That's like a day trip flying there and a day trip coming back.
Right.
A couple of days of jet lag. The company is basically out of action for a week or two whenever we go to an event like that.
Right.
So you guys try not to go to them as if we don't have to.
Because you guys are like a smaller company and everything, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
kind of
so-
hard to do stuff like that. Other companies, they just have some guy that all he does is he goes to conventions or something, you know. So it's for you guys, you're sending out people that are not just like since like Minecraft's different than a lot of games where you're updating it frequently. Like they send you out or
Yeah.
Mark or some other people. It's like, well, now we can't work on the game, you know. So it's crazy. It's just like,
I
yeah,
think that is a good point. It's a lot of games would send some kind of representative and to try and get people excited about the game, but we would send someone just to get the fans who already play our game happy. I mean, even though we won't gain anything from that in the slightest, it's just fun to have.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think the fans are a little bit like Mojang's a little bit different than a lot of other companies where like people know almost everyone that works for the company and they're almost like fans of the people, especially you. You've been like the one that has stood out the most, and Jeb as well. So it's crazy just because it's like a different environment.
Right.
And I think maybe another reason you guys kind of wouldn't do those PAX conventions and stuff is because you guys kind of almost stand out on your own, where it's like the Minecon is something big itself. Not a lot of games have like a big convention like that. I mean, I know there's like the BlizzCon or whatever, but that's for like an entire company itself. So it's crazy. Yeah, Minecraft has kind of created its own community like that, and it's a lot different than other developers, although they try to follow the same model a lot of times and it doesn't work out because you can't really capture the same magic that you guys had. It's just by chance that you guys took off and then just have kept it true. That's the thing that's cool about it. You guys have stuck by the way that the ways that you guys started with, you know, with Minecraft, and it's cool to see companies like that not really like selling out as they get big.
Yeah. Well, speaking more to your, role in the company itself, we have a few questions about that. The first one, and I actually don't know the answer to this, is how the whole upside down thing with your character came about.
I'd like to say that I had this epic backstory and a wizard flipped me upside down or something. But, it's not as fun as that, I'm afraid.
You just went bungee jumping one day?
Yeah, exactly. I went bungee jumping and I got stuck. I went past the equator point and it just went crazy. But no, really, I think back in the Bucket days when I was working on Bucket, I didn't really have like a standard skin. I think I was just some skeleton in a suit that I downloaded from the internet. And then for fun, I decided to flip the texture upside down. So it would be a normal model, but I just had an upside down texture. And you actually see a couple of those floating around, and they're kind of fun. And I thought, well, this is something unique. It doesn't really look fantastic, but it's funny to me. And I was playing with my friends, and they pointed out how hilarious it is to see, what would be my feet, but is actually my eyes sticking out from underneath a block if I'm flying.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If the top half of my body was covered, then it looks like I'm just like hanging upside down, peeking out at them. It looked hilarious at the time. So when I joined Mojang, it was like just one day I realized, oh, we're at the point where I can actually do something cool like this. So I was just like, yeah, I'm going to bring that back.
That's awesome. Yeah. We actually had a request for you pertaining to this. Not a serious one. We have a friend who... his name is Jake, and the joke is ban Jake, right? So we were wondering, would it be possible to ban him from any server he tries to log into?
Oh, man, that's crazy.
1 second. Ban Jake. There you go.
Awesome, yes.
See,
okay,
See,
excellent.
Coding's not complicated at all.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. That's like 10 key presses.
That's funny. Like, is there... Okay, I know you have, like, your name... in the game makes everything upside down, and then you're upside down in the game as well. And then there's the Jeb sheep. Is there any other ones out there, or has there been any consideration of adding more like people with Mojang, or maybe like different mobs in the game or whatever?
I think Grum is upside down, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he
Grum
is. Yeah, Grum's upside down. Damn copier.
But Jeb has the sheep, but it doesn't apply to his mod. It's only sheep with his name. Dead Mouse was one of the very first people.
Oh yeah.
He has the little ears, so if you have a player called Dead Mouse, then you get ears on a character. I think he's the only one to actually have extra parts on his model because of that.
Oh, didn't Doc M have something at some point Like,
No, that was a joke that he put out, and I've been getting a lot of grief from it.
oh, really? I thought it was just like you changed it just for a day as like a joke, but that was actually his doing.
He released a video right after, and
Oh,
he just
gotcha.
made a mod that did it.
All right,
And
I wasn't
even
sure.
though I said
I don't
it's not
even
been getting a
remember
lot
what
of
it
grief, it
was.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
I don't think we have any other like Easter eggs where something is named something that looks different.
Right.
And I know Ultra Moogle or Ultra Mog Miner,
Uh-huh.
the Mog Miner, yeah. I know
talking
that
to me, Mog Swamp.
yes, he mines you.
Yeah.
No, he's one of the new employees. Ryan, he joined us recently. I know he wants something for his character, but the problem is we don't want anything that changes how we play in gameplay. So we can't like make ourselves bigger or rotate 90 degrees or anything like that.
Right.
So it has to be purely visual, so it doesn't imbalance us if we have played PvP, for example.
Right.
And that is actually a very large restriction, because if you have something visual just on your character, then you can just change your skin.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Now, especially with the new skins and everything too, it's even more you can do with it. So
Exactly, yeah.
my favorite thing is putting on fake diamond armor for UHCs and stuff. You just put that as a second layer, and then just as you split off from everyone, be like, oh, let me put this on. So people
Oh, that's
won't mess with
funny.
me.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of programming and everything, kind of a little bit of a segue here. Tell us about your early gaming roots and what originally inspired you to become a programmer.
I'll answer the second question first. What inspired me to become a programmer? I think I was like 10 years old, and the thing on the internet back then was MSN Messenger.
Oh yeah, I had that back
Just
in
like
the day.
Skype, but old.
Right.
Yeah.
And I saw a chat bot someone made on it where you just say hi to it and it'll say hi back you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't
One
do
of
anything
those
fancy.
smarter bots or whatever, the smart bots, and they would like answer questions and stuff.
Kind of. It didn't really have any AI. It was just like, what is the weather? And then it'll look up what the weather is.
Right.
You had to be very strict in what you say. They just look for a message and then I say a message back, which is really simple to do. But back then, to like 10-year-old me, this was magic.
Right.
I was like, is there a robot on the other side, like typing away at the keyboard? So I set out to try and make one of those, and that's pretty much what got me started.
Interesting.
Making those in
cool.
Perl. So nothing gaming related at all.
Yeah. That's funny. I actually programmed a bit, and it was all just like on my own as well. What got me started is there was I don't know if you ever played any like text-based simulation games on the computer.
Like
but they're
mods and stuff.
kind of just like where it's just like I don't know. I don't really know many games like them, but there was these pro wrestling games that I used to play where you kind of just It's like there's games like them now, like the football simulators and stuff like that, where you just kind of manage a team and stuff. It was kind of like that, but random people made them, just random people in the community, and there's a whole community surrounding it. And I just started getting into it, looking up tutorials to code Visual Basic, and I ended up making a couple of games myself, but. Yeah, it was fun. My favorite one, just because of how pointless it was. It was the first thing I actually coded, and it was within like the first day, a couple hours. I coded a game called Sim Download, which all it was you pretend to download files. Like it's like a list. You click it, and it pops up with a window that I copied exactly from Internet Explorer, and it just shows like the time going by. There's cheats to get like better internet and everything too. It was hilarious.
That's hilarious.
And then when you download it, it would just be like a little text file, like with a little message in it. The funniest thing about it though was I had this guy was working on another game, and it was the sequel to one of the games he did before it, and I put like it was called Promotion Wars, so I put Promotion Wars 2 source code as one of the downloads, and I guess he saw one of the screenshots, and he sent me like a PM. He's like, how'd you get this and that? I'm like, dude, it's fake, I just made it up. It's a game. And then like I asked him about it later on, or I mentioned it, and he's like, I never sent you that. And I'm like, yeah, right, nice try. I fooled you, you idiot.
Yeah. My programming experience is limited to just this year, and all I've done is Python. Whenever I say that, people like spit on me. They're like, Python sucks. I don't know why.
Those people suck.
Python's fine.
Python's awesome.
It's a great beginner language too. So
the people who say that so-and-so programming language suck, it's I guess they haven't tried enough programming language, or they haven't tried enough different tasks in programming. But certain programming languages are better at certain things.
Right.
And it's like you got a bunch of tools. It's like saying a chisel sucks when you're trying to hammer something. Well, yeah, a chisel sucks. It can do the job.
Yeah,
it's good at other things. Try chiseling away at something with
or like kind of console wars. There's like this weird like brand loyalty to a programming language.
Yeah. Well, there's like a lot of that with anything. There's brand loyalty to YouTubers now. It's crazy.
Well, so speaking of programming and Minecraft, what is the very first thing you remember working on in Minecraft? I guess either at Mojang or just before that.
The very first thing that I remember working on. See, that's tricky. I actually remember pretty much everything I worked on, and I remember how excited I was when I had the idea and when I actually started working, all that kind of stuff. The very first thing I think I did was a mod called Stargate. And that's probably going to be my best thing that I've ever made, even though it's so primitive these days. It would be that in a server, you could make a little portal in a certain configuration. You slap a sign on it, and then it hooks up to other portals other people made with similar signs.
Oh, cool.
And that was the very first thing anyone had made in Minecraft that used signs as a way of like interacting with the game. So you see all those things like shops and stuff these days where it's like, right click on this sign and you'll go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
We did that first.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
You have that on like all the servers now, like the PvP servers. You click the sign, you join a game and stuff like that.
So we kind of did that, and we also had, I don't even think any mods do this these days, but we had complete portal physics in there. So you preserve momentum, you go rotate relative, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
And as far as I'm aware, towards the end of the project, there were no mistakes with that.
Yeah, I think they did have something like that in the Mistcraft mod with the portals that they had. That came out later on, because I remember messing with those. I'd do something that's controversial, and we'll touch on that later with Mojang mob farms. And I had like these guys, basically they would just drop into a portal and then they would go somewhere else to where it was easier than having just like a huge fall, just like a little short thing, and then I could just have them go somewhere out of the way and just kind of have everyone drop into the same area. But what was the actual first thing once you got hired on with Mojang that you started working on?
First thing, that's easy. The chat system. Most people probably won't remember these days because nobody remembers the bad things. But
they complain about it a lot, and then once it's gone, they forget about it.
Right.
Exactly. Yes, it's like, it's always been this way. Make it better. But back in the early days of Minecraft, the chat system was so primitive and it was so clumsy to use. You couldn't copy paste. You could barely delete things. It was just so hard to use the chat, and I dreaded using it.
Basically, it was like the books now.
Right.
It was like the books now, so you couldn't go back.
No cursor.
Yeah, you couldn't even see the cursor. It's just you were typing, and it was assumed to be on the end. So the very first thing I did as soon as I had access to the source was, okay, I'm going to redo the chat system. So now you have highlighting and going back and forth with cursor and copy paste, select all that kind of stuff.
The up arrow key, possibly my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, up arrow key, tab completion, all that kind of stuff now.
Right.
Links you could click, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that came pretty recent, but yeah, that was pretty much the main thing that I wanted to do as soon as I ever got access to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So.
Yeah, wait, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe one of the main reasons I looked this up, I did my research. One of the main reasons you were first hired back in February of 2012, was the date that I got, was to work on the mod API. This is the thing that you guys get bugged about probably the most. How did they contact you about being hired on, and what is the progress right now on the API?
The giggling is a good sign.
Okay, how did they contact me?
Yeah.
I was already in contact with Mojang, Jeb specifically, for
Yeah.
a long time at that point. We helped them fix some stuff
Oh, nice.
that we fixed in Bucket previously, like exploits or major server issues, all that kind of stuff. So we
Awesome.
already had some kind of contact with Mojang, and then at some point it was like, well, okay, you guys want to come visit? And then we visited, and they're like, you guys want to work for us?
Oh yeah.
So it was pretty simple.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like that was cool to see that they actually saw you guys. You guys had talent. You were doing good things, and then they're like, okay, well, why don't you join us? You know, that's
Right.
cool to see something like that.
Kind of
happen.
like how you just hired us to organize the Minecon events from now on.
Well, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know about you, Mog, but I'm already officially on the Mojang payroll. I mean, I get $5 a month from Dinnerbone, so
Oh yeah.
I consider myself an official employee of the company.
That works.
And I better answer this, otherwise people will hate me forever. So the current status on the API. First, I have to say it's a plugin API, not a modding API. And it sounds like a really trivial difference, but it actually means a lot. Because mods right now is like drop it in the jar. Even if it's just like the thing to install a mod, you still have to kind of drop it in there somehow. And you're modifying classes to do things that they're not supposed to. Whereas plugins, you'll just download this, put it in this folder, that's it. And it adds things into the game, which can replace things, but mostly add things.
Okay.
So like you're adding new classes instead of replacing an existing class, which
Yeah.
that's wrong, and I'll probably get abuse for that, but that's a really dumb way of saying it. And the status on it is we're still working on it, even though people think we're not.
So there you go, guys. The same exact status it's been this entire time. Still working on it.
I'm feeling really good at it. If people have been following my Twitter, they'd see lots of spam about block states and rendering stuff and all that.
Right.
Recently, we just pretty much rewrote how blocks are rendered in the world, which is a small thing, but is a really, really big small thing.
Right.
It is one of those systems that just has to be replaced if we ever want some kind of API to access it. And we have a lot of these systems that need to be replaced. But that was one of the larger ones, and it's actually usable right now in the snapshots. People have been making texture packs or resource packs that like make bookshelves 3D or make plants really, really detailed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've seen that.
So you can do those things already, and that's, of course, something that the API would be able to do, but because we already have it, we're able to expose that with just resource packs.
Right.
And I've been working a lot on block state stuff, which is basically getting rid of block IDs and block metadata and replacing it with a system that's completely flexible, so plugins can just say, hey, add a new block here, and it's going to have these properties and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So even though it looks like we're doing nothing, we're actually doing a whole lot of work.
Yeah. Well, if you weren't flying back and forth to San Francisco every other week, you'd get more work done.
He uses his laptop on the plane, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I took a selfie in midair, like half intercontinental flight, and that was amazing. Technology.
Okay, so Adulgit mentioned the $5 a month, which he was referencing on Patreon, which for those of you who don't know, it's like a service where you can donate to someone, like a subscription fee almost, like once a month, a certain amount of money. And Dinnerbone is actually paying Adulgit $5 a month for that. Maybe not anymore now that we announced it. He's gonna get embarrassed. No, now everybody's gonna be like, "Hey, why the hell isn't Dinnerbone paying me?" So
Well, go to my channel and you'll see why.
yeah. Oh, shot. But anyways, that's kind of a nice segue into your activity in the Minecraft Let's Play community, because I would dare to venture that you've been more involved in the Let's Plays than any of the other Mojangsters. So I guess the question is, who do you watch and enjoy the most? And do you watch just to see like how the game is being played, or do you find like a greater entertainment value in the videos?
I'm going to give a really disappointing answer for this one, for part of this one at least, and say that I don't like to talk about who I watch because it ends up badly. I mean, that's why I've got my subscribers hidden, subscriptions hidden on YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Sorry. I'll say if I do watch someone, but I won't say if I don't watch someone.
Right.
But I mostly I watch a group of people or a group of different people for different reasons. Like some people I watch just because they're really entertaining. Well, everyone I watch is really entertaining, but I watch them because they're a character and they're having fun, and it's fun to watch them having fun. And some of them I'll watch because they're likely to be doing techie things which are probably going to break my game, and keep an eye on that. And some of them just have really creative...
we know a couple of those.
Yeah.
Some of them have really creative viewpoints on the game, and it's nice to watch them to see what did they try to do and what did they expect to work but didn't work, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Shameless plug, but I wrote a blog post probably a very long time ago now, sadly, about why I watch Let's Plays and what they can benefit like game developers. And the main reason I watch Let's Plays in general for my job is just because they are such a huge and valuable tool or asset that we can use. It's like these people are finding bugs. These people are expecting to have this feature but aren't, and it's probably probably who else is trying to do this thing but it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's cool too because you guys have like you get to see how people are playing and enjoying your game too. So you could be like, oh well, people like doing this. Let's do more stuff like this. So it's pretty cool to have that ability.
It's also a really nice way to cheer yourself up because
definitely, yeah.
A lot of people might be upset about the game, but then here's someone having lots and lots and lots of fun with the game. So it's nice to see that, hey, I made this happen.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of the Let's Players, it's pretty much mostly positive, and if there's any shots at you, it's always jokingly done.
Yeah, fix your game.
I have to say, it is really, really weird to watch a video and have someone randomly yell out during the video your name. It's like, can you imagine watching a TV show and they'll suddenly say, oh yeah, I bet Mogswamp would love this. Or,
yeah.
I'll just go give a dog a ring. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that must be kind of surreal. So the other part of that question, which I kind of skipped over, was like, did you try and sort of make your involvement in the Let's Play community happen, or did it just kind of happen that way? I assume it probably just kind of fell into place.
I try not to be involved, actually.
Yeah.
Like I don't make Let's Plays myself, of course. I don't join in anyone else's unless it's a really special occasion, and I think that's happened maybe 3 times in total. I don't join people as guest appearances or anything like that. I just try and not to interfere with it.
Right. Do you have a reason for that, or?
Yeah, kind of. One reason for that is I'm very shy, I guess. I don't see myself as someone who should be getting involved with that. I mean, they're the talent, not me. But also, I don't want to... Well, if I appear like on one person's video, then someone else is going to get upset.
Exactly, yeah.
And then their fans are going to get upset, and then their fans get upset at me. And also, I don't want to get too close to someone in their job, which might affect their job and it might affect my job, all that kind of stuff. There's just so many reasons kind of pile up there.
Yeah, I figured.
But I do watch and I do participate from a fan's perspective. So I say like, hey, I liked your video or whatever. And that's pretty much it.
It's almost kind of like, I don't know if either of you have seen the movie from the 90s, The Truman Show, where the guy kind of controls the world and just sits up there and watches. It's kind of almost like that. You don't want to get involved personally, but you...
Exactly, yes. It's their job. I shouldn't be involved in how they do their job.
Yeah.
Jeb is the god, not Dinnerbone.
Yeah, well, in this case, I think he fits that role, considering he watches everyone and sees what they do secretly.
He sees all the all-seeing eye. It's Illuminati. I knew it. Well, we also have some questions from Reddit and Ask, and I figured I'd ask this one because we just sort of touched on it a little bit, which you were saying how, once in a while you'll watch the really technical people and see, some of the ways they might be breaking the game or some things that probably should be balanced. And this is a question we got on Reddit. It's not my wording. It's theirs, just a disclaimer, because I don't know. They had an attitude about it. So this was submitted by Ray with 2 Y's and an underscore. I'll just read it word for word. Why do Mojang seem to have such a two-faced attitude towards automation? Great way to start. Some members of Mojang have stated that they don't like it multiple times. Then things are added that seem to almost only be there to allow for more things to be automated, like hoppers and potions. I recognize that members of the team have varying opinions on it, but as a whole, I just want to have some idea why you do things the way you do regarding automation. As it stands, it doesn't make much sense to me and seems to be dividing the Minecraft community over the subject, with Mojang seeming to try to please both sides, but getting slightly angry with each other or something. I don't know. I butchered that at the end. but that's the question. I was especially interested in it because I love the automation side of the game. So be careful what you say.
Well, that is a good question, Ray, with 2 Y's and an underscore. It's a extremely fine line with what we consider automation. We don't want to go past this line because we want people to be playing the game. We don't want people to be playing the game through some other device,
AFK
building something that kind of beats the game, and then there's no point to the game anymore.
Right.
I mean, building these things and maintaining these things, I know it's a lot of fun. I love doing it myself, but at some point, like, if we were to say, okay, here's a block that kills mobs and here's a block that mine blocks, all that kind of stuff, well, eventually, what is the point? You're just going to place a couple of these, and then, well, you're going to upgrade your weapon. There's no need. Something's going to kill them for you. You're going to go eat some food, or there's no need. Something's going to farm stuff for you. And so we try not to cross the line of what we think is too far.
Right.
We like automation. Most of us like automation. But we just don't like too much of it. So
It's just finding a balancing the game out.
It's finding a balance, and I guess that's why we kind of seem two-faced. Is like we don't like this thing, but we do like this thing.
Right.
And in our heads as a company, it makes sense. It might not from the perspective of an outsider. But I guess that's true for pretty much everything we do.
Well, I mean, what about things that are bugs, but they come to be so widely used that people just expect them and they're mad? Like, for example, I don't know if it was ever intended that signs held up water, but if that ever got removed, I know thousands of inventions would be broken. People would go pretty much crazy about it. So
these wonderful emergent behaviors. From my personal perspective, I see stuff like signs holding up water. I see that as not an intended feature, but not an unintended feature either. It's just kind of a thing that happened.
Right.
Is we don't explicitly, if we're going to add a new block, we're not going to say, okay, it interacts with all of these other things in this specific way. We're not going to lay that out. We're just going to say, we're going to add a block. It has these features. Like it might push something. It might just block the way. And then we'll just see how it interacts with the rest of the blocks.
Right.
Which is a cool... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a good analogy of that is, I don't know if you guys have ever played like a trading card game or like Magic the Gathering or something like that. They will release new sets here and there, and then they'll make these cards, and like usually the set within itself will be balanced out, but then you start combining cards from different sets and put them together, and then all of a sudden some guy makes something where he can't lose, and they're like, okay, now we got to take this card out. This one's banned, you know. So it's kind of almost like that, where you can't know, no matter how much work you put into it, how everything's going to interact with each other.
All of a sudden, some guy spawns in for skeleton spawners.
Yeah, right. See, there you go.
That was amazing. Just saying.
Just crazy stuff.
Yeah, that is pretty much exactly it. So we like to just throw things in there, and then we'll see how it plays out. And then if it gets abused too much or it breaks the game in some way, then we might look into changing how that works.
That's the benefit of the snapshots as well. Like you get a lot of testing done that way.
Even though people seem to think that snapshots are full releases and
right.
they're expected to have one every week with brand new features, and we're not allowed to change anything. But
I think the biggest one as of late was the Iron Golem thing, and
yeah,
especially on Reddit, there was a huge pushback against that.
See, things
that was tough.
That situation, it's not like we just had a meeting and we're like, yeah, we're going to remove farming or Iron Golem farming in any way. It's just that, okay, we had this one bug, or in this case, we actually had a couple of bugs, like villagers not saving their position, they're not merging together. Even though that was intended from the beginning that they should merge together and then save the fact that they merged together. Some bug got introduced along the way, and then it stopped happening, and then that was one of the things that led to how these worked. But then we also had these other things like pretty much every mob in the game drops these rare items only on kill by a player, except for these ones which were added before with that mechanic. So should they be brought up in line to be the same as every other mob in the game? And we're like, yeah, sure, we may as well. That makes sense. It's a rewarded loot. It should drop for players. So it's not like we intended to break mob farms. It's just a thing that happened because it's unintended behavior for us. So we don't look out for it if we are going to fix a bug.
Right.
We're not going to say, okay, if we fix this, is this going to break something that we intended? Because that's not something we intended. So we didn't set out to fix it, but it's just a consequence of us fixing it.
Exactly, yeah.
And
that's the thing. You guys are just experimenting with the snapshots, and people think this snapshot is final. Like, it's not going to go back. It's not going to get balanced or anything. This is how it's going to be. And that's where the tears start to come.
Even if we fix the thing that people were like, yeah, we don't like this anymore. Even if we fix that and it was only in existence for one or maybe two snapshots, I'm still to this day getting complaints about things that were only true for like a couple of days.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I heard it from this one guy a very long time ago that this is the case and I don't like it, so change it back or I want a refund.
Yikes.
How dare you change that one line of code for that day before you slept on it and went back to work and changed it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of that happens like without even releases coming out. There's stuff that with programming you change all the time and you come back like the next day you're like, okay, never mind, I'm going to change that. So just seeing what people complain about. I mean, you shouldn't really complain because there's probably far worse or far more things that have happened that you don't even know about.
Exactly,
It's just that's how coding is. When you're releasing snapshots, it's basically, that's why it's called a snapshot. It's a snapshot of that week or that day of what they were working on and what they were experimenting with. So I think the thing is a lot of people don't know enough about programming just to know how the process works. You know, it's a lot of experimenting and stuff. So it's just stuff happens sometimes, and if people don't like it or you don't like it, it just gets changed. It's not a big deal.
They want the snapshots, but they don't want the consequences of the snapshot.
Exactly.
So
there is one other side to it, which is that community aren't individuals, and they'll want different things. So to bring one bug as an example is the piston quasi-connectivity. Sometimes it's powered, sometimes it isn't. Lots of people want us to fix this. Lots of people don't want us to fix this.
Yeah.
And in the end, we will one day have to make a decision. Is this going to stay? Is this going to go? But once we do that decision, then people are obviously going to hate us because, well, whichever group of people we disappointed. And it's just like one of the things. We didn't intend for it to be as it is right now. So we're gonna kind of see how we can change it without impacting anything that relies on it. But people can't make up their mind. Well, a community can't make up its own mind on what it wants there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just because there's stuff that, like we were saying, bugs that ended up almost becoming features and people expect them to be there. It's hard when you're a programmer and you just want to fix everything. So it's hard to deal with that. But some more questions. I'll ask you one from ask.fm. This one, speaking of adding new stuff with snapshots and everything, and we just recently had the update with the new biomes and everything. This question asks, are we going to have any sort of heavenly or aether-like dimension in the future? I mean, nether is hell, so why not heaven? Or basically, like, is there any intention of adding, like, another dimension anytime soon?
Because I do remember when the end was introduced, it was almost supposed to be like an aether almost. Something like that. And I remember there was rumors that, you know, when you went to sleep in a bed, it might transport you to a dimension or something. Weird.
Rumors are fun.
Long time ago.
Yeah, originally we did have that sky dimension where it was just like a bunch of floating islands and then you could fall to your death and you had to get around. And it looked really cool, but it played really bad. We weren't happy with how it felt. I mean, performance-wise, it was really terrible because it just was. There was a lot of lighting issues with something like that.
Right.
But as far as playing, it was actually really hard to play and it was really frustrating to play. Well, I'm going to go down and dig some walls. Whoops, I just fell out the world.
Yeah.
And I guess some people would like that thing, but then most people probably would not. So as far as the Skylands we did want to introduce, that was a bad implementation of a concept, I guess. So that's not going to be here anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say the future because I'll be held to that forever.
Yeah.
We do want to add new dimensions because they're fun to add. It's like a whole new world.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha, mind the pun. But we still have 2 dimensions right now which still need to be fleshed out, in our opinion. The Nether is getting there. It has lots of content already, but it could do with some more. And then the end is like, well, the only reason anyone goes to the end is for farming experience.
Right.
Which isn't an intended thing, but we're going to keep it that way for now because there's no reason not to.
Yeah. Why would you take it away and then take out the only purpose of it, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it looks even more unpolished.
We'd rather focus for the immediate future on polishing the existing dimensions before adding new ones, because otherwise you're just going to end up with 3 incomplete dimensions instead of 2 incomplete dimensions.
Yeah.
But we definitely do want to look at adding new ones at some point in the future, I guess.
It'd be
and
cool
we may or may not have plans, but I'm not going to speak to those.
Oh, jerk.
Ooh. Hype.
Yeah.
Post on the Reddit. Go. I'm sorry, I won't do that to you.
What I was going to say, though, like the Nether definitely, I think, could use some tweaks. One thing I'd like to see is make it more dangerous again, because I remember back in the day, everyone hated the Nether, and then it just seems like as you play it, it's like, okay, well, there's like all these pigmen that just spawn in, and they're basically worthless unless you accidentally hit one, which doesn't happen that often. It would be cool to see like some other way to aggravate them. Maybe not like Enderman, where if you look at them, maybe something similar. Maybe if you hang out close to them too long, maybe they'll kind of get mad. I don't know. It'd be cool to see, because pigmen are deadly once they get mad at you.
They're so terrible.
But they're so easy to avoid. Like once you, like if you go there and just like, okay, I'm not going to hit you, then you're good.
Yeah, there are tons of ideas. I mean, people have posted on the Reddit with you know, their modifications to the Nether on their servers or whatever, and there are a lot of cool ones. So, but I do like the Nether as it is. I just, maybe a little more dangerous, like you said. Who knows?
Yeah, it is getting there as far as content, but it
definitely
does kind of need the element of danger that I think it was originally supposed to be there for.
I think quartz and then the addition of the random lava blocks actually added like a ton to the Nether, because that's the main reason I go to the Nether. I'll go there for hours and just mine quartz like all day.
Well, the Nether fortresses are good too now with the chest with the loot, especially like if you're doing a flat world like Mog Swamp does, because then you have the ability to get some other items in there and stuff too. And I've even tried to use it in UHC. It gives you another element there where you could be like, oh, I'm going to try to go to the Nether, see if there's a fortress nearby, because if there is, that's easy diamonds maybe, you know? So
Speaking of my flat world, I want my diamond shovel back in the trades. I was so sad.
That got removed, I guess.
I think it did. I can't find it.
Not my fault.
But the slime blocks are cool for a flat world. I got lots of slimes. So
Is it the traditional flat world?
Yeah, I've been working on it for like 3 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's big.
I guess the benefit of that is you don't have to worry about new features being added into the world.
Right.
Because you're not going to get them anyway.
Exactly. So all right. So I guess I'll do another one from Reddit. Which we're kind of talking about snapshots a little bit. So here's one submitted by Yo-Yo-You. And he just asks, what is his grand plan for Endermites? So any hints there? I don't know. I just tried to pick one of the top ones. So.
Well, the plan for right now is to give them a better model because they're silly.
Yeah, for sure.
But the grand plan, I don't think we want to talk too much about that because then if we ever change our mind and say, oh, actually, this might be better, then people would just get upset at us.
Right.
Yeah, of
They'll
course.
cry. And I don't want people to cry.
You guys need like a PR director or something.
Right.
A watchful eye.
But yeah, we do have some ideas, but I'm not going to say what they are right yet.
Okay.
They might probably isn't going to be for 1.8 as well, because grand plans and we're already like halfway through the snapshot, so
Gotcha.
maybe that's not a good idea.
Well, here's a little question about 1.8. Is there still a lot more that you guys want to add that hasn't even been touched on yet in 1.8, considering you're about halfway done? Because I know a lot of people were talking about like wanting to see more dungeons and stuff like that. Without talking about anything specific, is there just a lot more stuff that you guys still have planned for the snapshot that people haven't seen yet? I mean, for 1.8.
I would like to say yes. We have lots planned that we want to add in, but I'm not sure if they're going to make it in because of time issues.
Right. We all know how plans go.
Yeah. We actually have like a wall of stickies and
oh, cool.
like these are the things that we said are going to be in 1.8.
Nice.
And that wall is maybe halfway through now. We've done half the things we wanted, and we still got half the things left. But most of the things that we want to add, or the things that I want to add especially, are very reliant on lots more refactoring and working, like changing how inventory works or changing how the attribute system works, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So we can't do those until we've done these things, but then doing these things means that people aren't going to see features for a while.
Right.
So you heard it there, guys. More half slabs and stairs and special tools with lore.
Oh, you're killing him. I can just hear him. It's okay. Here's a tissue, man.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's go on to the next question. Speaking of programming, updating the game, stuff like that. This one, I mean, this is probably going to be a quick, easy answer, or maybe you don't even know the answer to it. But it's just kind of a little bit interesting to me. And Official Nucky, I guess is his name, on Twitter, he asks, why do all items work in multiples of 8? Like a full stack is 64, for example, but the crafting table is multiples of 9. He says, makes it annoying for making blocks, like, for example, 63 when you have one left over every time. Not really knowing, just curious about why not make stacks 63 or 70.
It makes it annoying, but it's not really annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as why the stacks are 64, it's because in the world of programming, that's a very, very nice number.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
So for efficiency's sake, that's actually better for us. Well, it may have been in the past. Right now, it doesn't matter too much, but it's a nice number, 64. It's great. Why the crafting grid is 3 by 3, I guess because the previous one was 2 by 2, and that's one upgrade to it. If it was going to be 4 by 4, or 4 by 4 would be the next Power 2, then that would just be kind of weird because the recipes would become that much more bigger and more complex, I guess.
Yeah, there's just more awkward. I'd think that the recipes if it was 4 by 4, or if it was like maybe 2 by 3 or something like that, or whatever it would be. It just like Here
is a crafting bench shaped like a duck.
Yeah, exactly.
Make your bow now.
There you go, new mod coming out now because you said that.
I would like to see that.
That would be interesting.
I would love to see that.
And why some recipes give odd number stuff. I guess that's the difference between balance and just because it's a nice number.
Right.
We'll add something that gives you 3 of something because that seems fair to us. 4 is too much, 2 is too little. So 3 is the choice there. But then if you do make like a whole stack of them, then it doesn't fit. So I guess deal with it.
Yeah.
it's
I actually don't really even have a problem with any of the crafting recipes as they are now that I can think of. The one thing that I can think. Solution. Oh, go ahead.
All the recipes that give an odd number now will nerf them so that they don't stack to 64.
There we go.
Everyone happy?
There you go.
No.
the stack to the closest possible lower stack. Like if it's ladders give you 3, right? So 15
Yeah.
in a stack. There you go.
Yeah, people love that.
The one thing I can think of that's tough to craft is like dispensers because the bows don't stack. Oh, they're so hard to craft.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't care because how often do you craft a bunch of dispensers? Not very often.
I guess it depends on what type of person you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. And if you're the type of person that's crafting that many dispensers, you'll probably just set up some contraption to help make you easier to craft dispensers.
A dispenser
Using
that shoots
dispensers.
bows at you.
Yeah, exactly. It'll droppers. It'll shoot bows at you while you slam on your number pad.
There you go.
So I guess I'll ask the last one from Reddit, and this is from Jeffrey the Walrus. And Jeffrey asks, ask what his favorite gameplay mod is, other than stuff like Optifine or shaders or stuff like that.
And not one of your own mods.
Yeah, not Stargate.
Not Stargate SG1.
Darn it. I don't really want to answer that because I don't play much mods. I don't have time to play mods.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big mod guy. Just say the Matt Damon mod.
Yeah, sure. I'll go for that because that sounds cool.
Just say a mod that you guys have already implemented. Just be like, oh, the Mo creatures,
Yeah,
the horses.
pistons.
Yeah, the one that added the pistons. That's a good mod.
There you go.
There you go.
It works completely different to how we did it, but sure, that's a fun mod.
I wish it did work the same. I just saw some old videos of like blocks flying in the air, and I'm like, how awesome is that? It's just like ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be insane. Be a whole different game.
Yeah.
Instead of hopper chains, you just have blocks just flying around your base.
Yeah.
It would
So-
only be fun if there's a chance for it to misfire and shoot it in a wrong trajectory and then overshoot or something.
Yeah.
You're trying to build a house and then the roof goes flying away.
That'd be crazy. Oh man.
So I guess we have
Are
one
you-
more question, right?
Yeah. Yep. One more question from Ask.fm, and it is from Just Vaughn, a guy that we know. He's active in the YouTube Minecraft Let's Play community and is in with a lot of the Minecraft guys. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard of him. He says, "Hey, Dinnerbone, just wondering, speaking of the community, what some of your favorite community aspects surrounding Minecraft have been, like the charity support, like the fundraisers, for example. Kurt J. Mack has raised a ton of money for Child's Play, and just stuff like that. What have you enjoyed the most seeing the good that's come out of the community surrounding Minecraft?"
That's a tricky question because there's so many potential answers.
Yeah.
I honestly think we have the best community of any game because of the amount of good things that I've seen come out.
Yeah.
We do have all these charities and they are fantastic. Like you said, Kurt J. Mack raising, what is it, $150,000, I think, in the last season alone.
I just went to the Child's Play panel yesterday at PAX, and it was really touching, actually, to hear when it went to the open questions. People all lined up, and I figured they were just going to ask questions. But before all of their questions, almost all of them said, okay, we raised $6,000. Everybody would clap, and then they would ask a question. Next person, we raised $7,000. Everybody claps, and then they ask a question. And I was like, oh my goodness, like,
Wow.
they have this cookie brigade. They sell cookies to people at the convention, and they raised, I think it was $7,000 just in that one weekend.
That's crazy.
And there were other things, people from college campuses and game marathons and stuff. So it's amazing to be part of that whole charity community. That's awesome.
The one other thing I think I like equally as well as charities is instead of giving away money, people give away good thoughts, and people help each other, and that is the best thing that can ever happen, I think, in any community. Is if someone needs help, and I'm not just saying like, okay, I'm going to jump on a server and I'm going to say, how do I do this? Because you're probably not going to get the best supply there, but if someone needs help with anything, like someone needs, I don't know, their grandfather's ill, or they just need cheering up in general.
Yeah.
In the community, you can come together and they do these awesome things. I see it on the Reddit like every other day. Is the top post is, I'm sad, or here's a thing that someone I know made and they don't play anymore, but this makes me think of them, or this is a great memory for me. And then everyone just comes together and they're like, wow, congratulations, or I'm sorry, or all these good thoughts. And that doesn't just happen on Reddit. It's like on Twitter,
on Reddit,
streaming everything. It's just amazing. I think that is the best thing to me. Is just that everyone is so kind to everyone else.
Yeah, all you got to do is look at the comment sections on a Minecraft video and compare it to another game.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah,
yeah. Even on like the bigger channels, they do get some of that, but it's far better than a lot of other games and stuff. There you go. Check out some of these other games, and the comments are just people arguing back and forth. It's ridiculous. I remember just like back before I did any videos on YouTube, just that was the whole thing about YouTube. That was the joke, that just the comment sections was just like an utter wasteland of just stupidity. And then you get into this community and you're like, oh, actually there's some good on this website, And it's because of the Minecraft community is I think what it has to do with is that just the game is so about being creative and working together to build things and stuff, and it's kind of just translated into real life and everything. So that's cool.
Especially since you can't really jump into Minecraft without asking a question somewhere along the line. So everyone has been in the position of I need help, or I'm stuck, or I need ideas.
It's not like you go on Xbox and all the recipes are there for you. If you're playing it on the PC, you got to figure everything out yourself.
It used to be a criticism, and I remember it was like highly requested that people have tutorial books in the game and something. I think that's the whole reason the Let's Play community has thrived, the Reddit has thrived, because people look for those tutorials, and all of a sudden there's this huge community aspect of the game. Honestly, if you were to redo Minecraft again, well, not you specifically, but the whole thing, if it were to happen again, I would say don't change that, because it's brought everybody together.
I think one of the most fascinating parts of the community to me is the fact that the community has basically spawned an entire economy.
That's something we talked about in the previous episode. We had a guy from Seuss Corp. They make toys which are similar, but not too similar to the Minecraft character.
Writing this down.
But, yeah, see, but yeah, it's cool to see how you guys have like spawned off all these other businesses, and there's some that try to take advantage of the name, but a lot of them kind of stick to the rules and do whatever they're allowed to do, and you guys let them get away with it, which is good to see. Like, just that people are taking an idea and then transforming it into something else. Like, for example, that's a Let's Play. Basically, you're playing a game and then you're transforming it into something else. A lot of gaming companies are just like, oh, we don't want you to play our game, this and that. Minecraft has it on their website that says, like, you're allowed to do it, you're allowed to monetize it, this and that. I guess YouTube doesn't pay attention to that, because I remember when we
still get attacked.
Yeah, when I first started, they're like, "Oh, you need proof." I'm like, "It's right there on the website. I'm sure you've seen it before, considering this game has sold a couple million copies." So whatever, and then they would never respond to it. So
But anyways, it's
enough of the rants.
It's great. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
We have like a bunch of questions on Ask FM that I thought I would shoot at you real quick. Like, do you like bunny waffles?
I'm going to pick a random answer, and I guess yes, because I like bunnies and I like waffles.
Okay. Favorite brand of peanut butter?
None. I'm British. That's not really a thing.
Okay. Are you hotter than a baby in a microwave?
Okay.
Sure.
Possibly my favorite one, because it's very indignant. Why aren't there any rainbow squids? Minecraft desperately needs this.
There are. Keep looking.
Yeah, rename a squid Jeb. Try that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So
They'll fly through the sky.
Yeah. Oh, man. So just some of the questions we've gotten.
Now, here's one for you. Do you bacon?
Oh, I bacon.
Oh, he's baconing right now.
Oh, nice. But yeah, thanks for joining us on the podcast for the extra long interview. Of course, we had to keep you here longer than we usually have people, just because everyone sent in like a ton of questions. I think we got a few hundred probably in total, which is crazy. So a lot of them were the same thing, but there were some good ones in there, and we listed those. But yeah, good luck with your Minecraft game. Hopefully you make a success out of that. But,
yeah, we have some hopes for the future. We almost sold like 10 copies. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, nice. That's good.
Is that 10 billion?
I think it's like 50 or so now, which is crazy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us. Now you can finally go back to coding. I know, like, we talked about the Twitter stuff. I'm guessing, like, a lot of that is, like, a distraction when it comes to coding, and you kind of want to just go on there and talk to people. And so it's just like, you're like, I just got to get stuff done. So I know how that is. So thanks for joining us, especially considering you're probably one of the more busier people of the staff, but then yet you still you allow yourself to be open to people, more than anyone, which I definitely appreciate, and I know everyone does, and respect it. So,
well, thanks for the kind words.
And that's going to wrap up the podcast as well, because we've talked for so long with Dinnerbone.
Yep.
So no more time left on the podcast. So thank you all for watching. Check out Dinnerbone at Dinnerbone on Twitter, in case you somehow didn't know. And thanks for watching.
See ya.
Ta-da.
So you better get ready for Muggin' Dude.